Hi, everybody. It's Ryan from Pi Records, and I'm here with the guys from Chrome Castle. How are you?
Fine. How's it going?
Good, good. Would you mind starting off by introducing yourselves and what instruments you play?
My name is Robert Lee. I play the rhythm guitar.
And
For the band.
I'm Craig Bennett, and I play melody guitar.
Cool, cool. And there was a lot of melody on your most recent release.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we don't have a singer, so I try to sometimes capture what sort of a vocal melody that I imagine in certain parts of the songs, and then of course I join Robert on chords too on a lot of pieces, and I use a altered tuning to his, and so we create this mesh between us that creates a pretty interesting dynamic.
Speak to me about your alternate tuning. That's interesting.
Well, I tune my E down to a C. It's just it's a like a cello, I guess. It's a C, G, D, A, E, 5 strings, and it gives me, it goes from really low up to pretty high, and it gets pretty taut up there on the E string, and it just it's something I used back in many years ago. I was able to form certain almost like jazz chords better, to be honest. And it's back when I sang too, so I just really got attached to this tuning, and my guitar got attached to it because it's it's I keep that tuning on this guitar for many years now, so it stays in tune. And when we got together, Robert plays a standard tuning, and we found it just created a nice sound together.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you guys work together on the melody, or is that solely your position in the band?
Well, I guess it's my position, but when Robert goes a certain chord, it inspires me to go a certain place. So it really is when we're putting parts together, from a verse to a chorus. When he goes a certain place, it kind of takes the note there, and then from there I may go off. So that's kind of how it works, though.
Well, yeah, I'll send him an idea for a chord sometimes, and he says he whistles it or something to get your melody. You whistle a melody in your head just from a phone recording.
Sure, yeah.
We go back and forth a lot like that. Yeah.
So is it a collaboration between you, the writing between the two?
Yeah, we both do most of the writing, of course, and we work as a band to arrange the stuff, and our bass player and drummer, they have full input as far as that stuff goes.
Yeah, we sort of get the ball rolling, the two of us, and then it and then we tend to get a little spacey or sleepy if we do. Our drummer and our bass player get us up.
Yeah, we come from 80s college rock, kind of all that whole deal, and where our bass player Ashley, she grew up with punk rock music mostly, and then John Barnes, our drummer, he's been in punk rock bands. So they kind of wake us up when we get a little too 80s sleepy indie rock,
We push it though. We try to drop in a break. You can see that we would like the breaks to be much longer, and they're like, enough of that, back to the song.
Yeah, we want to use our pedals. We're big fans of pedals,
Oh yeah.
So
one thing I noticed when I talk to a lot of instro or surf bands is that they always go back to punk rock roots. Not always, but a majority of the bands I have talked to talk about the punk rock roots. Is it the DIY aspect, you think, or is it musically challenging?
I think so. I think that's it. Like Robert said, a lot of those 80s jangly bands, a lot of the bands that played Rickenbackers and just had that clean kind of sound. We just we always find ourselves falling back to that. That was something we always liked. In other bands, we attempted those things. I think we've starting to make it kind of happen.
Yeah, we stick to our clean. There's no distortion in our pedals at all. We have every other pedal except for the
we even make sure our amps are, we don't overheat our tubes, don't want to crackle our tubes. So we always make sure, when people say crank it up, we keep our amps cold and we keep it nice and clean,
crisp
and clean.
Would you say it's akin to the Jam?
Yeah,
I'm a huge Jam, definitely. We have big influence from them, just just because they had a kind of like a bouncy, they weren't strictly punk rock, of course, and they had, you know, bouncy songs, bouncy pop, you know, type songs too. So they infused that jangle with, you know, a little punk rock energy at time.
And I'm a fan of Johnny Marr from the Smiths and his,
Oh
his
yeah.
sound, and that's a big influence on me. And we like REM, of course, here
All
in
the Athens
Georgia.
80s.
And so those are, you know, those are definitely influences too.
You spoke about pedals. Now I heard a lot of different effects going on your
Yeah, there are a few in there.
2022 release.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of the effects that would entice people to listen for.
Reverb.
Reverb.
but
Three or four reverbs.
Yeah, a little delay, reverb, that kind of thing. Some wobble. There's a wobble to my sound, kind of off, which is what I like. And so it's a little, maybe a touch of, it's a mixture of vibrato and a little bit of delay, and that is the basis of my sound. And then I'll hit a giant wash when it's necessary. And you have a
I mean, I had
you
know, just big several reverb choices for me, and then I have like a golden paw, which is just it's almost like an organ type sound. I can hit to sustain a note.
Is that what it's called, or is that
No,
what
it's not really called. It's not really called the golden
That's our
paw.
nickname for it.
It's called, I don't even know what it's called because we just call it the golden paw, but it's like, it looks like a piano, the pedal on a piano,
Right.
and it's a sustain pedal essentially.
Right.
And you can hear that on Put Your Suitcase Down at the beginning of that and in the middle of that song. But it just gives a different sound. And people tell us all the time they hear different instruments when they hear us live and stuff. And we're like,
They hear keyboards or horns. But you also are heavy on the whammy too, which is great.
Whammy,
So we have a great dynamic between the whammy and my default wobbly sound. So that's how it works.
Before we get into the main purpose for this interview, I noticed you got tons of books, and I see a book there, Marr. Is that Johnny Marr's book?
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I read it.
So have you, apart from his guitar playing, he plays a lot of Smith songs live.
Yeah.
On his solo stuff. Would you say, I know it's a stretch, but would you say his voice holds up true to the songs?
Yeah, I think so. It's also his recording process is fascinating too. You know, in the Smiths, he layered so many different guitars on top of each other, and he used alter tunings. And to be honest, I was in college and I was like, I want to try this alter tuning stuff. So he was an inspiration for that too. But and his the Rickenbacker, of course, in the 80s, and just that real clean sound he had, and the 12 string, I believe he played that a lot. And yeah, so but yeah, and of course he was so young in the Smiths too. You know, he was just a young guy, but he handled their production too. I always admired that. That's what really drew me to them.
Awesome. So, the point of this interview is to tie in all the events, and bands for the Southern Surf Stomp Fest. And
Sure.
tell me a little bit, you guys being from Atlanta, what does that mean for the southern portion of the United States? Like, you know, you have guys like Surfer Joe coming down there. I mean, this is all a pretty big deal, as far as surf and instro music comes. What does it mean to you guys?
Yeah, I think that it's funny, we never really set ourselves, you know, on the course of being a surf band. I think that comes from, we're instrumental, we're very reverby and very melodic with his guitar stuff, and we love Western cinema, Western type of sound too. I think we pull a lot from that, and I think that has reached people, and they kind of associate us with that surf sound as well. And then that's when we started hearing about the Surf and Stomp festival in Avondale, and just a well-ran, well-produced and promoted festival that we're very proud to be a part of. You know.
Yeah, it's been every year. It's like such a big deal, and I would see it, and it is it's pretty cool to be a part of it, because a number of our songs are very surfy, and sometimes we're like, wow, we're actually doing something that, you know, people like. You know, it's kind of cool. Exactly. And we go into that. We kind of went into it without even really knowing
Not
But
at all. Not at all.
but we do have I would say a large number of people that come to our shows come from the surf
Yeah.
world, and really,
Yeah.
and then we have enough there they really seem to be interested in, and then when we kind of go off on our other tangents, we still are able to hold them, I think, which is cool. But yeah, we've known about this the surf stomp here has been
For years.
yeah, it's, and the
Yeah.
people that come are just amazing.
It's a very a devoted community, you know, and
Yes.
it's one that we didn't
yeah.
know about, because we'd never, when we formed this band, we didn't say let's start a surf band
Right.
at all. We were just wanted to, you know, guitar based, really kind of a dynamic song structure. And it just turns out that my style of guitar and with his melody and what we like, it just makes sense. You know, a lot of the songs on that record, that, you know, the record we have out, were just written by us alone, before we even had a bass player and a drummer.
And with the idea that we would have a singer.
Yeah, we had a singer. Yeah,
it's very structured where a singer goes here, and then we thought after we got the, you know, bass player and drummer, we enjoyed the four of us together,
Yeah.
and then we said, you know, with a singer, a fifth person could be a real pain, and we
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. And when we played, we would have people come to the show and say, "You're not getting a singer, are you?" Because we were kind of talking about it, and they were always happy to hear that we
Yeah.
don't. Well, early on, people were like, "Where's the singer?"
Yeah.
Which is really annoying. But as we kept playing, I've had people come up and say, "I'm so glad you guys don't have a singer."
Yeah.
So, and I am too. So we're doubled down on it, and we're really, this next record we're about to record, we're real excited, because we really feel the first one kind of set us up for the next one.
Yeah, and the next one is definitely much more focused, because we were, as a band, writing these songs, I think, and we knew what our strong points were. Whereas the first record, we were just like letting it grow as it happened, you know. So I think we have much more of a a control over, or a natural chemistry, I guess.
You know, we found our lane,
Yeah,
so to
yeah,
speak.
exactly. And then the whole surf thing is, it's we're fascinated by that, but it's like not something we chased. It just kind of it just happened naturally, and then people kind of latched onto it. I think we crossed genres, which is interesting for, I think, a lot of surf fans, where they're exposed to like, wow, I love surf music, but wow, that's different than a surf band wouldn't do this.
But I love the surf
So-
scene, because it's so, like you say, it's so dedicated. I love groups. I
so
love fandom.
dedicated.
I love people who get into
Yeah.
certain things, and it kind of, I'm disappointed when people don't get into things enough. And so when I see
Yeah.
people getting into this, it's like, man, this is a passion,
Mhm.
and that's what's super cool about it.
And they're very open to us, because they're
Yeah.
open to different perspective of a genre. You know, it doesn't have to be like, this is surf music. It can be bigger than that. You know, like it could be Western. It could be
It's different versions of it, I
different
guess.
psych surf. We call ourselves what, surf gaze for a while, because
Because of the reverb pedals.
yeah, surf gaze. You know.
Well, it's interesting that you put it that way, because I always find that outside of the surf community, there's not a lot of recognition as far as the genre. And
Right.
from what I understand, and it was the same with me and most people, once you hear it, it sticks with you. It's just a matter of getting the music to the people, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's
You're-
what Surf
you're
Stomp
right, you're
does.
right.
You know, Surf Stomp is very important for that in this, here in Atlanta, in the area. You know, they bring attention to it.
So as far as Cherry and Chad are concerned, Cherry and Chad Shivers, how do you feel they help the scene, and how do they get you guys connected to the scene?
Well, for one thing, they're really good about giving exposure to the bands through their interviews. They do that really fun review. They reviewed all the bands' records, that are participating, and they do a great job promoting on social media. And believe me, it's tough to be seen out there on social media with all the competition and just the noise. So they've been really good about just pushing it and tastefully pushing the product in the festival, for sure.
Yeah, their video, they just had a conversation, and with
Yeah.
our record just playing, and they just kind of talked about certain parts, and then they kind of just talked to each other, and it's like you're just in the room with them, and it was really cool.
Yeah, really, yeah.
They had some good takes.
Yeah,
sure.
Exactly, yeah.
So this last release, did you put that out in a physical for him as well?
Yes, we did
Interesting story.
we had a label, Midnight Cruiser put it out on vinyl, pretty limited, and then we did a compact disc too, so we could go to some college radio and stuff. And then we had our release on Valentine's Day,
Valentine's Day.
and then the next month COVID
COVID hit.
happened, and that
Oh,
so that sort of took the wind from our sails.
Yeah, we couldn't push the record really. We had no avenue to push it. So
Then we started writing once we felt safe enough to do it as the year went on, and then we started building up this new material, and we were able to all finally get back together. And then when things got better again, we were sort of in this weird feeling that we still want to promote the first record, which we did,
yeah,
but we already now have moved on to this other project. So now we're, play
Yeah.
a show with a mixture of both. And then we just played last night actually here in town, and we debuted a lot of new material, and because we just felt we needed to get it out there for
Yeah.
ourselves, so we could get it ready to record.
yeah. We're gonna hopefully record in November-ish. So we want to get these songs fleshed out. And Craig has a really nice studio downstairs and where we practice, and so we can do really nice demos. So that's really an important part of ours because we are instrumental. Every part has to be thought out a little differently.
Oh, that's a good
you know.
point. Yeah, we're not a jam band. When some people think we're an instrumental, and you must jam, and we nothing against that genre, but we don't do that.
No, yeah, our songs
And-
are like 2-3 minutes.
And every note I play is specifically where it belongs. I don't ever. I've given myself no freedom to go into a certain part and say, okay, this is where I'm going to do a solo, or this is where I'm just going to have fun.
Yeah.
Instead, it's going to be the same song you heard 3 months ago. It's going to be those same notes. Really, it's
Yeah.
it's just that aesthetic I kind of like.
Mhm.
That so we are well rehearsed.
Yeah,
I would
definitely
say.
rehearsing and demoing is very important
Yeah.
to getting
how
it.
many, how many times a week would you say you rehearse?
Well, we get together as a full band twice, a weekend and a weekday, because we live in, we don't live we were close enough compared to some people, but Atlanta is sprawled out pretty big, but
Yeah.
we're reasonably close.
Yeah.
And then we make demos where I just pull each person out and let them at home play. So because I have a demo where I can play with the
Yeah.
drums and Robert and Ashley, and I pull myself out. So now I just have them anytime I need them. I got them in my studio. I just turn it on and I play to them. It's
Yeah.
easy for me and for Ashley on bass.
Yeah.
John and Robert holding up the structure of the songs, a little bit difficult to do it that way, but
Mhm.
we do rehearse on our own and try to keep it tight that way. But
Yeah.
twice a week is, I would say.
Well, during COVID, we wrote a whole record just back and forth through on the computer through
Yeah.
a Logic program,
Yeah.
and that's our little EP we released. It's just guitars. There's
Yeah.
no bass or drums in it, just because
Wow.
we didn't want to waste this time because we couldn't do anything. We could still be creative,
Yeah, we put that's out on that's in all our stuff's on Spotify and Apple Music and
Yeah.
Yeah.
a Bandcamp, all the usual suspects. Yeah, you'll
Yeah.
find us.
Yeah. Well, one thing that interests me is from what you said is the style of writing you had when it was just the two of you,
Yeah.
and now you're putting together songs as a whole band. How has that changed the writing process and the sound of the music? Like what direction did you see you staying the course, or did you change it a little bit?
Well,
Yeah.
I think we just we realized that having a full band involved is better for our songs, and
Yeah,
they really flesh them out really to make them more powerful. We're very into dynamics of a song. We like drama, and you can't have drama if it's all chill and mellow and spacey.
yeah. I
You-
mean, like our breaks were kind of that was to me that's the song.
That was a
is
whole
the
song.
break.
Yeah, just a
But
break. Yeah.
but we also have verse, chorus, break. That whole
Yeah.
concept of songwriting. So I would say the rhythm section really just tightened us up, especially playing live. They did put more of a hop in our step, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
For sure.
And
yeah.
so now this new the new set, the set we just played last night is really energetic
Mhm.
and pretty upbeat. And before we might get a little sleepy, I would call it, but now these guys have definitely just instead of going to a part, we they might have cut it down to maybe just a fourth of what it would have been with us. We would have had it much bigger and expansive, which is sometimes if we have to play a show where they say play long, we certainly can do it. But if you want a concise show from us, we'll bring that break in on a song and just keep it, just keep it right in.
Yeah, we're
small,
good about
short.
that, making things compact, like
Yeah.
just really cut out all the fat,
Yeah.
we cut out just the stuff we really want.
And that's what those guys really did for us too.
Yeah.
Ashley and John.
Yeah, and their punk rock backgrounds just really it's just a great mixture with because our influences are very similar. We've known each other for a long time, and we kind of bask in that whole, Echo and the Bunnymen, the Church, the Smiths, REM, whereas Ashley will bring in like the Damned and some of the punk rock, the Gang of Four,
Stiff Little Fingers.
yeah, Stiff Little Fingers and all that stuff. So, and same with John.
I just watched the Dame documentary. Did you see it?
I have not seen it.
I've heard
about it. I need to watch it.
It's really good.
Oh,
Kind of, like most stars, they have sad parts, but
The best documentaries have tragedy, right?
yeah, but it's really good. I was really happy I stumbled across it.
Oh, cool.
Well, they're a good example of, they were punk rock in the beginning, and then they got very dramatic and very nuanced. Their last albums were the last albums of the late 80s or whatever were not that early, that early punk rock.
Yeah,
Interesting how that changes.
Even like the last, I would say, 2 decades, they did a lot of keyboardish.
Yeah, well, Strawberries, that whole record. And
Yeah,
that was my first introduction to them before I heard the early stuff, but Strawberries and Phantasmagoria and all that.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting to me. I heard Brian Baker from Dag Nasty talk about how Strawberries influenced Dag Nasty. Like,
really,
yeah,
it's a cool record, man. It's like just a cool record, and it made me go back and hear the other records.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's so different.
Yeah. So you have this this new record coming out. Are you finished recording it, or are you in the process of getting it pressed, or?
We've just demoing it now, and we record it in November, December.
Okay, that's right. You did say November. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Yeah, we've got the songs picked out. I believe got them.
Yep.
12 songs.
Is it 12 songs. 12 songs. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be on my label that I have, Black Cottage Records, which is a mostly instrumental label. This time, we're going to release instead of a previous label, and hopefully we're going to promote. Well, not hopefully, we're going to promote it nationally, and see where it goes. Hopefully, in the new year, we'll get it out. And
How about this? What tips would you give other bands in your instro genre? What tips would you give them about promoting a smaller genre such as yourself?
He's a pro at that.
It's hard. I keep trying to learn. I come from the old days of hop in a van with a box of cassettes and play up the East Coast. That was. But nowadays, I mean, it's tough. I mean, even having physical product, especially if you want to appeal to younger generation, they don't touch physical product necessarily. So you must be on Spotify and Apple Plus and all those. YouTube is oddly the #1 place people get music, and then and so you got to be in those places, and it's best to have a distributor for that. But I would say try to promote nationally. Still use college radio. It still has value, and community radio, because they have genre specific shows. And so you'll have, I know we have Georgia Tech here, WREK. They have such specific shows. They're a very bizarre station, very freeform. And if you find the freeform stations, they tend to be good for this type of music. They'll have a surf hour, or they'll have a surf, or maybe a couple of times a week, and they'll have someone who's dedicated to it. So they'll play those tunes. And you'll have there's other stations I've found all over the country that have these moments. And so when you give them not just surf, but just instrumental music, and funny thing, sometimes if a music director at that station, you never know, but if they like what's going on there, they'll grab that tune and put it in their regular rotation. And then now you're playing, now you're getting people to come to your Spotify, and then they may look for you. Where are you playing shows? The radio station wants you to come visit. So it can kind of, it still works that way. Back in the good old days, it worked a lot better with college radio because they were the kind of the gatekeepers of what was cool. Now,
Terrestrial radio. Yeah.
yeah, but now, of course, all these radio stations have, you know, they have podcasts, or they have online. You can listen to them online, so they work that way. But yeah, it used to be that was the only place where you could really find the cool music, and now you can just do a search and you can find the record before it even comes out, you know. So it's different, but that's the way I've done in the past, and it's a hit and miss. But if you can get someone to can promote, someone who will ring up they'll ring up those stations every week. Are you playing Chrome Castle? Are you playing Chrome Castle? You get someone on your side, and hopefully they say yes, or hopefully this person will bully them enough to do it just to get off their back.
It's one person.
Yeah. You know. So I think that can still work.
And that's another thing about, you know, the Surf and Stomp. That's where they come in too. They're helping expose people to these bands.
And just as you are, I mean, you know,
like you're
people like you. we need more people like you for sure. So it's a constant, just constantly finding out where can I find my people, you know.
It's a brave new world. I always say just do it because you love it, not because you want to get plays.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Different.
Have you guys heard of Paradise Cove or the Clint Beachwood show?
Paradise Cove.
We're on a show out in California somewhere. I can't.
Yeah, it's DJ Dottie.
Okay, I got you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Look her up and look up Clint Beachwood. He has a podcast called A Day at the Beach.
Oh, yeah, I see. I don't know that one.
Yeah.
Day at the Beach. All right.
Yeah, they're really, those two really are at the cusp of like what's happening with new music. It's intro.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
that's what helps. That's like you are helping us.
Absolutely.
And we'll pass it on to other friends that are in the same boat.
Yeah, they've been doing it a long time.
That's great. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much for coming on the show. It was really interesting to hear your process, and it's always good when the guest talks more than the host. So,
well, didn't take much to get me talking.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't music, especially.
We're not out there that much, so we get a chance to blab. We'll
yeah.
blab. We don't have a singer for our band, so we got to do our talking.
Yeah, it's funny. We're dead silent when we play a show.
We hand out lyric sheets at our show, just a blank piece of paper.
Awesome, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Cool, bud.